actually make it through to the big league. Some of them do have a fantastic first season because nobody knows them. So, although the coaches have watched them and so on, the opposition players don't know them as well, haven't learned all their tricks, and they might have a fantastic first season. The next season have what's called second season syndrome. Everybody knows who they are now, what they do, what their party pieces are, and they've got to lift their game and work harder. Some of them drift out of the game after that second season because they can't lift their game. They've given you everything they've got. Some of them have career-ending injuries. Some of them realise that having made it there is not really what they want. A whole host of reasons why they don't continue on or continue. Now, some of them are very lucky, and they'll be like Cameron Smith, for example, who retired a couple of years ago, having played 400 odd games and set all sorts of records, but very few of them do that. So what I'm trying to get to here is, I guess, if you've got a young kid in your family, or that you know that's being offered all this, I'm not by any means suggesting hold them back and say, oh, don't let them do it. Because, as I say, it may be their dream, and sport maybe they think they're good at. But I'm suggesting that whatever contracts and so forth that are put in front of them, or you who have to sign them as their parent, I guess, you have them properly scrutinised by independent lawyers. I'm not suggesting that clubs are dishonest or, you know, anything like that. But let's be honest, they're there to protect their interests, not yours. Be clear about what happens in terms of medical expenses when it comes to injury, even at 14, 15, so on. And if, as they get older, there's money involved, make sure it's properly managed and put away so that it's there for that player when their career comes to an end. And it's not an if, it's when. And also make sure that their education is taken care of. Now, I don't know how various football clubs here in Australia or codes work, but there was a time when all the clubs were keen on you're either learning or you're earning, because you have to have something to fall back on when this comes to an end, and not every person is going to have a career in the media. But also it means taking care of their mental health and their psychological welfare as well, so that should they become like this Philly Bowden and not be doing well despite training hard and despite doing everything they can, and they don't fall into despondency, all those sorts of things. You give them encouragement and support when they need it, and maybe at some point you might need to have a talk, such as Philly must have had with herself and thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here away from my home, my family, my partner, whatever. It's just not enjoying it anymore. So that's my take on sport and sport at that level. I admit I've not had any real dealing with that, but you can see footballers who fall by the wayside and get involved in all sorts of shady things, drug taking, drinking, gambling, criminal behaviour, and whilst I'm not suggesting it's entirely the fault of the football club, they do have some responsibility and some duty of care, even though you can argue, well, this is a grown-up, this is an adult. Hello puppy. They can look after themselves. The football team demands so much of your time that, and I know they have welfare officers. Now, I don't know how that applies to running, because sometimes you run with a team, as Philly did when she was in Ohio. And a lot of times, it's like I am now, you run by yourself, and your mental well-being, running is part of your mental well-being. It allows you to get outside those problems, except if the problem is running itself. So, just coming up to the turnaround point for the park run course, which means we've got a bit over 2.5 or about 2.5 back to the finish line. And as I mentioned earlier, we're coming into the magpie zone. I don't want to dwell on this and discourage anyone from coming, but I do want you to know what it is you're coming to if you're coming running festival in August. So here's the turnaround point, and the yellow sign up on the pole there tells you from here to the other pole, which I'll point out when we get past it, is the magpie's territory. As you can see, we're down a little dip here and up the other side. Not too steep, but once we get back on the main track, just up ahead here, you can go right. We're in a pretty flat section for a good while until we pass under the Victoria Street Bridge. This on the right hand side is the river, the Wongalilly River. And on the left, just up ahead on the left there is the BMX track that the council is currently repairing and renovating and whatever. And here's the second pole that marks the end of the magpie's territory. And as I said, It's a pretty flat section here. I go around this bend, the Victoria Street Bridge will come into view. If you're a visitor and you're not running and you go along these tracks, all along the track there are these orange signs like this one here that tell you different things about the river and the land use at various times in the history of Goulburn. The place there used to be a very popular swimming hole. I'm not sure if I'd swim in it now. Probably not so bad unless there's been heavy rain and the water's flushed the river, but often, although there's water flowing over the weir at the start line where we were earlier, by the time it reaches here, it's pretty well lost its momentum. And